Hey everyone, welcome back to The Explainer. I'm so glad you're joining us today because we're tackling a massive headache that almost anyone with an off-grid or RV solar setup has run into at some point. We're diving into the mystery of the missing solar power. You know the drill. You plug your numbers into some online solar calculator, it spits out a beautiful, mathematically perfect answer, and then reality hits. Today, we're moving completely beyond those theoretical calculations to figure out how these systems actually behave out in the wild. So picture your own setup, or maybe a project you've been sketching out. You run the numbers online, and the calculator proudly promises that your battery bank is going to be fully charged in exactly 4 hours. Awesome, right? So you wait 4 hours. You check your battery monitor, and yeah, you're still waiting. 4 hours becomes 5, then 6, then maybe even 7. It's incredibly frustrating. Well, I want to validate that right out of the gate. Those standard online calculators, they are fundamentally failing us when we take them out into the field. And we're going to break down exactly why that happens. Section 1. The solar calculator myth. Unmasking the 4-hour lie. All right, let's anchor this with a super common example. A battery stores energy, right? So if you know your battery's energy capacity and you know your solar panel's power output, estimating your charge time should be a breeze. Let's take a standard 12-volt, 100 amp-hour battery. That stores roughly 1,200 watt-hours of energy. Hook that up to a 300-watt solar array, and the simple math says just divide 1,200 watt-hours by 300 watts, and boom, you get exactly 4 hours. On paper, it looks completely foolproof. But here is the giant catch. That basic math only works under standard test conditions. We are talking about absolute, perfect laboratory settings. That calculator just blindly assumes your panels are cranking out their full rated power continuously, without a single hiccup. It assumes flawless weather, perfectly ideal panel temperatures, literally zero shading, and absolutely zero energy lost through your wiring or your charge controller. But let's be real for a second. Does your van or your cabin roof operate inside a climate-controlled lab? Definitely not. Section 2. Laboratory versus reality? The hidden variables. Look at how adding just one single dose of reality completely wrecks our neat little math equation. The ideal formula just flat out ignores the real world. But the real world formula? It divides battery energy by the solar power multiplied by the system efficiency. Because out in the wild, absolutely no solar system is 100% efficient. Energy just leaks out of it, kind of like a plumbing pipe with a bunch of tiny holes in it. Let's apply this realistic formula back to our 300-watt setup. A really solid, well-built system usually runs at an overall efficiency somewhere between 80 and 90%. So if we just assume an 85% efficiency rate, our effective charging power instantly drops from 300 watts down to 255 watts. That perfect 4-hour charge, it immediately becomes a 4.7-hour reality. And remember, that's assuming everything else outside is going perfectly. We've literally just lost nearly an hour right off the bat. Now, 60 degrees Celsius, that's a pretty shocking number, but we really need to talk about it to bust a massive myth going around the solar community regarding hot weather. So many people assume that a blazing hot, sunny day means you're getting maximum solar power. Well, it's actually the exact opposite. Heat kills your output. As your panels sit out there baking in the sun and getting hotter, their voltage actually drops. And lower voltage directly translates to lower power output overall. By the time a roof hits 60 degrees Celsius, a panel that was rated for 400 watts in a nice, cool laboratory is going to produce noticeably less than what's printed on its sticker. Extreme heat is honestly one of the biggest reasons your app or calculator is so wildly out of sync with what's really happening. Section 3. Weather and environmental factors. Nature's toll on production. It is amazing how fast your production plummets just from some simple cloud cover. You might hit near 400 watts in blazing strong sun. But throw a light cloud overhead, you're instantly slashed down to somewhere around 150 to 250 watts. Heavy overcast, you'll be lucky to pull in 100 watts. Nature just does not care at all about your calculator's assumption of perfect, uninterrupted sunshine. And it's not just clouds overhead either. Shading is a total system killer. You might notice a tiny shadow from an antenna, a vent pipe on your RV, or maybe a skinny tree branch and think, no big deal. But depending on how your system is wired, partial shading on just one single panel can act like a bottleneck, dragging down the performance of an entire connected string of panels. It absolutely cripples your output and pushes that charging finish line even further away. Section 4. Inefficiencies and system losses. Leaking energy. Remember those plumbing leaks we talked about earlier? Energy is literally bleeding out of your hardware before it ever even reaches your battery cells. Even the absolute best, top-of-the-line PWM and MPPT charge controllers aren't perfect. You're losing energy as it passes through the internal electronics, through voltage conversion, and some of it is just lost as heat. You lose power fighting the natural resistance of your wiring and connectors. You even lose some power just in the chemical process of the battery trying to absorb the charge. All these little hardware gremlins are constantly chipping away at your daily harvest. Section 5. Battery charging behavior. It's not always full speed. Calculators blindly assume your battery drinks power like a bottomless pit until it's instantly full. But whether you're using lithium or lead acid, batteries actually charge in distinct stages. First up is the bulk stage. That's the fast part where the battery aggressively gobbles up maximum current. But then we hit the absorption stage. As the battery gets closer to full, the charge controller intentionally steps on the brakes. It gradually decreases the current to protect the battery cells from getting damaged. Finally, you hit the float stage, where it's basically just sipping a tiny trickle to stay topped off. So here's the really crucial takeaway from that. Going from 80% to 100% takes way longer than going from 20 to 80%, entirely because of that safety tapering. The basic math formulas just ignore this completely. They completely ignore the fundamental chemistry happening inside the box. And that's a massive reason they underestimate charge times. That final 20% is literally always the slowest part of the race. Section 6. Real-world system sizing. Designing for reality. If we don't build in a solid buffer for weather, heat, and hardware losses, we run straight into some serious real-world problems. Expecting perfect lab-level charging leads you to buy an undersized solar array. And when your array is too small, you are completely unprepared for a streak of cloudy days. The end result? You're constantly struggling for power, and worse, you end up permanently damaging lead-acid batteries from chronic undercharging. Trust me on this one, failing to plan for the real world gets very expensive, very fast. It all boils down to this perfectly simple quote: solar systems operate in the real world, not in laboratory conditions. The end goal here isn't to create some mathematically perfect equation on a piece of paper. Your goal is a reliable system that actually keeps your lights on and your fridge cold, no matter if it's a scorching hot day or a gloomy, overcast afternoon. So I want to leave you with something to really chew on as you look at your own DIY builds or upcoming upgrades. The very next time you pull up one of those online calculators and it promises your battery will be full in 4 hours, take a step back and ask yourself, is my system sized for a laboratory or is it sized for the real world? Getting that answer right is going to save you a ton of time, money, and a whole lot of headaches. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on this explainer. Keep tweaking those setups, and I'll catch you on the next one.